Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Beginner's Guide. I'm Phlinger, and today we're going to be discussing how to tame the different types of dinosaurs. There's 3 different types of taming, and there's all sorts of different types of dinosaurs. There is active taming, there is passive taming, and then there is egg hatching taming, and we're going to cover all 3 of those. And to get started, we're going to go with active taming. Active taming involves knocking things out, which means that you're going to need to start with a mortar and pestle, because a lot of the stuff that you're going to make in order to do some active taming is going to be done with narcotics. Now, how you make those is you take and you put down a mortar and pestle on a foundation or a grounded surface. You can't put them directly onto the ground. And once you have these, you can actually open this up and you can make narcotics, but you have to learn the narcotic engram at level 6 prior to being able to learn them in here. But once you've learned it, this is where you find it. Now, you take these blackberries that I told you to save from the first episode, and you put them in here. And then you take the spoiled meat, and you put it in there, and then you get a narcotic. Now, you could do this to gain XP as well, because it is a terrific source of gaining XP. Matter of fact, if you're in the early game, one of the best ways of getting some really good XP is just constantly keep narcotics always going, and you will level up very, very quickly doing that. Alright, so now that we've got those, that's how you keep your dinosaurs knocked out. Now, what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be actually crafting something to knock them out. Alright, now, one of the key things is with a bow, you also later on get a crossbow, which also fires arrows as well at level 25, and then later you will get the long neck at level 35, which you can use to fire trank darts, but you don't get those until level 62. And then the trank arrows you get at level 21. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff in the background as we go through, so I'm going to be skipping through a bunch of the recorded stuff, but we will be getting to level 21, so where we can get some stuff knocked out. Yes. All right, I will see you guys in a little bit. But first off, before we go, make sure that you craft up a bow. I usually craft up 2 just because, and here, I'll show you here in a sec. All right, you take the first bow and you put it down here on your hotbar, and then you take the second bow and you put it right down next to it. And this is a little trick that I've learned over the years, that you don't always just have one bow, because bows break. All right, here, let me craft some arrows so I can give you an example, because there's a dillo right over here. All right, bows like to break. All right, let me open this up and close that. We should be good. All right, now always make sure that both bows are loaded. Now, when you get one, and you can always just freely switch as soon as the first one breaks. Very, very easy to do that. That way there, you always have a backup on hand ready to go, because if you stop and you repair it, you run slower while you're repairing. You run at crafting speed, and crafting speed is slow. So if you have a second one on your hotbar, it'll help you out in the long run. All right, another thing to keep everything immobilized while you're going, there are different methods. One is you can use a bola. If it's a smaller size dino, then a bola will keep it trapped for a little bit. It's not forever, but it will keep it trapped. There are a couple other ones. One is a net gun, which you get the net gun launcher, which is the harpoon gun, and then you learn these on a different map, which will allow you to unlock those. And you can use those, and they will keep things locked down for 60 seconds. That one right there is amazing for taming a lot of different things. But there's also taming pins. Now, I'm not going to cover taming pins in this video, but if you want to know all about taming pins, I've done many videos on them. Matter of fact, I'll put one down in the description down below if you want to learn all about the different types of taming pins for taming every dinosaur in Ark. Okay, also one thing I need to cover really quick is when you are hunting for metal, and in the very early levels, yes, there is a metal node right here. This is what they look like. But if you don't have any of these around you in your current spot, look for these little round bits of rock. These are called river rocks, and they give a rather high amount of metal per each one of those that you smack. Also, if you're still using stone tools, smacking one of these with a stone pick is going to really give you a very small yield. So if you're using stone to harvest your metal, just stick to the river rocks until you get a metal pick, and then you can start harvesting this for a lot more. Alright, so we just hit level 21, and that is the level that we can unlock trank arrows. So that's what we're going to be doing, getting some trank arrows. And now that we've got that, we've also got the stuff to make our metal tools. At least I think we do, yes. There we go. And we can make both of these. And once you have those, honestly, the stone stuff, you'll never use it again. So just get rid of that. And there we go. I know a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, hey, I need to keep on to this. This thing right here, it lasted me a while. The stone stuff, just get rid of it. All right, now one other thing that we absolutely need for taming, well, it's not an absolutely need. It's something that is extremely helpful, and we'll get on that here in a sec. You need to find a source of crystal. A lot of times, you won't be able to find crystal right away, but you need to be on the lookout for it, because crystal is very important when it comes to the first two forms of taming. Passive taming and active taming. So be on the lookout for that. Now on Ragnarok, there's a couple really easy sources of metal. Now, if you are over here in the Highlands, where I'm at, there's this little river, or this little creek, that runs all the way down to the coast. So if you go up, you follow the creek all the way inside. Sometimes there are Allosauruses up here, and when you first see them, you'll be like, oh, look, Allosauruses. Don't get too close. They will eat your face. Now, when you find this little area hidden up inside of here, if you have metal tools, and I recommend coming up here with metal tools, stone tools, they will get you a little bit of crystal, but not nearly enough. You can waste all these nodes in here and only get 1, maybe 2 crystals sometimes if you're unlucky. So, now that we've got that, let's learn the spyglass, which is probably one of the most important things when it comes to taming stuff. We need some wood. Alright, now that we've got the spyglass on its way to being made, take that, put that down here. And then now, what the spyglass allows us to do, it allows us to look at dinosaurs in the distance and see their level. So where we know exactly what we're getting ourselves into. Now, when it comes to active taming, the concept is the exact same no matter what type of dinosaur that you're doing an active tame on. They're always knock out, feed them something while they're unconscious, or yeah, it's just varying levels of difficulty. Like, say, this parasaur right here. You can take this, use Ebola to keep him completely immobilized. Once we get the trank arrows up and going, that is. Finding my narcotics. Alright, once we get the narcotic, or the trank arrows up and going, and all the trank arrows take is, 1 narcotic and 1 stone arrow. Alright, but once we have this guy immobilized, alright, with the bola, you take these and you drag them down onto the bow, so now your bow is now firing green arrows, which will knock things out. See? He is now unconscious. Now we can take and we can add his favorite food to him, be it mejo berries, the purple berries that you pick up. You can tame them with any berries, but the best berries are mejo berries. You can also give them crops, as in the sava root and the rock carrot, or you could also give him kibble. Kibble is the best when it comes to just about anything. But, say if we were to knock out this Pteranodon, since he eats meat, he's going to want a different source of food instead of the berries like this one eats. This guy right here, he will not eat crops. He will not eat berries. He'll eat raw meat. Raw prime meat will give him a little bit better. Raw mutton, which comes from the sheep, throughout that are kind of rare spawns on most maps. On Ragnarok, it's rather common. Or he will also take kibble as well. And kibble, of course, is the best. Kibble is made from growing crops and getting certain ingredients and going through. If you want, I've got different things on how to make all sorts of kibble on my channel. Go ahead, search those out. There's pretty good guides, actually. And so that is active taming. Now, when you're active taming, do I have any berries on me? I do. Okay. When you're active taming, you're going to be getting a taming bar. All right, when you look over him like this right here, you'll see that he has that much torpor, which is keeping him unconscious, the purple bar, and then below it is the tan bar, which is how much he's eating. That's how much he's feeding. Now, also, you'll notice that the taming effectiveness up here. The taming effectiveness, I have an entire video done on taming effectiveness down in the playlist for this video. So, yeah, I would encourage you, if you have any questions about taming effectiveness, I go over everything, all the scenario instructions in detail, and break down the math on every aspect of taming effectiveness. All right, now, for torpor, there is different types of weapons that can initiate torpor. There are boomerangs, which you can get on Scorched Earth and also this map, but it takes sand, which is why I'm not using it, I'm not showing it right now. But a boomerang is a really early and effective way of knocking out lower level dinosaurs. It works very, very well. A slingshot, which a slingshot is really not all that great, but it can be used in a pinch to knock out certain things. And this parasaur is just tamed, and it is now ours. All right, and then also from there, it goes to the bow with the trank arrow. Now, the bow with the trank arrow is your basic of the basic. It's better than a slingshot, better than a boomerang, but it's also the worst of the others, which means it's good, especially at lower levels, but it's not the best, and it's not the greatest. All right, next up, you'll have the crossbow. The crossbow's next, and the crossbow will do you well for a long time. The crossbow does a lot of torpor. Now, when a trank arrow hits a dinosaur, here, oh, that didn't show. It'll deal 20 points of damage. Now, what's happening is it does the initial 20 damage, and then it does 20 physical damage, but it also doubles that when it comes around to how much torpor it initially gives. So it gives a 40 right up front. As soon as the arrow hits, it gets 40 torpor. Then it adds a damage over time, or a torpor over time effect that lasts for the next 6 seconds, I believe, and it deals an additional 50 torpor over the next 60 seconds. Now, this dot does stack, so if you want, you could just continue to constantly shoot something over and over and over, but just realize that torpor over time is building up, and you're not going to be able to see it because there is no damage tick or anything of the sort. You just kind of have to do the math in your head while you're doing it, especially when it comes to the more dangerous and the further up dinosaurs that you're dealing with. All right. The crossbow deals 70 torpor damage up front and an additional 87.5 over the next 6 seconds. So the crossbow is quite a bit of a step up from the regular bow. And also, when you finally get into the long neck rifle, and then you start using trank darts, that one right there deals up front 156 torpor, which is a huge amount, and then a little bit less over time from the crossbow, but the upfront from the long neck really pays off. Now, the damage over time for the long neck is 65. So basically the dot right there on some more higher end dinos, it's just enough to keep their torpor from going down, because if their torpor is not going up, it's always going down, and if it's not always going down, it's always going up. So make sure when you're knocking out something that is a little bit more challenging that it is always going up with that dot. That dot is a very helpful tool to keep in mind. Now, also later on, way later on in the game, you'll get a thing called shocking trank darts. Shocking trank darts are the best for knocking out things. They deal 312 instant torpor, which is a huge amount, and then additional 130 torpor over the course of the next 6 seconds, which is quite a substantial amount. It is absolutely amazing how fast you can knock out things with a long neck with a shocking trank dart. Also remember that the damage bonus that you get on weapons also helps determine how much damage, how much torpor they do. So if we were to get a really good bow that had 300% damage, you would multiply those figures that I just said for the bow and the trank arrow by 3, because it's 300%. It works out really, really well, and you can get some really insane things for just knocking out and taming your dinosaurs. All right, so that's how you knock out and do active taming. Next off, we're going to get into passive taming. All right, now at any time, if you walk up to a dinosaur and then you see right here where it says put food in last item slot to feed, that means it is a passive tame dinosaur. Now you can take and you can grab the berries off of this guy, and then you put them down in your 0 slot, right down here where we have our spyglass, and then you walk up to it and you can just feed it. Press your use button on it and it will feed it, and then you'll have to wait a little bit of time, and then you can go up to it and you can feed it again. Now there are other types of dinosaurs that are only passive tame, and a lot of times you're just not going to know what they are early on in the game. If you knock them out, and you walk up to them and they don't have the big, huge thing that says that, hey, can be tamed, like right here, there's no notification of anything, that means it's a passive tame. So, yeah, you're going to have to wait for them to wake up, and then you're going to have to try to passive tame them again. Let me get back those arrows. All right, come on, dude. Let's get back over here. Now, passive tames, there are certain different ones that you can get that require spoiled meat. They require all sorts of different things. Some you have to use bug repellent to get up really close because they're hostile, and you have to make sure that they're going to stay passive until you can get up there. Those are more advanced tames. But just know that if it's a bug, like a mantis or a big giant spider, an araneo, or one of the centipedes, that it's going to be a passive tame. You're going to need to use bug repellent, which is another item that you craft. Make sure you have active bug repellent, and then get up and then feed it the spoiled meat so where it can eat that. All right, another form of passive taming is, well, actually, it's just this one right here. This is like just a gimme when it comes to maps like Ragnarok and Lost Islands. If you see something like a group of equus or wild horses wandering around in an open area like this, matter of fact, there's none around here. I wish I could show you. Those guys right there, they are free to tame, and they are passive tames, but they are a little bit more harder to passive tame, especially if you're going to be using berries. Berries suck on taming with those guys, but on Ragnarok, right here on the map, there are piles of carrots that you can use, and you can feed them these, and these are almost as good as kibble, not quite, but they are really, really good when it comes to getting these horses. Now, let me see if I can actually go find a group of these horses, and then I will show you. They're usually all over this area, and I'm kind of flabbergasted as to why I don't see any right now. All right, here's some are. Now, these guys right here, these are equus. These are wild horses, and they do take a little bit of practice in order to tame, because if you get up too close to them, they will run away. So you need to make sure that you pay very close attention to them. Oh, this is a 110. Okay, this is really good. Now, when you get up close to them, it is very, very frustrating when you first start off, is learning how to approach an Equus and get on them. But once you get a little bit of practice, oh, this is gonna kill it. Oh no, maybe not. Once you get a little bit of practice, you're gonna get really good at this. So I encourage you to really try. Now, the key thing is when you're taming an Equus or something like this that requires you to do this, don't touch anything until it tells you. Right there. All we are is pressing the use button so where we can feed it a carrot from our 0 slot. That is it. If you do anything else, if you jump, anything, you will reduce the taming effectiveness. So be very, very careful. You're just in this for the ride right now is basically what we're doing. And he's going to be running off, going all sorts of different random directions. Let him. All right. Now, if you have a bunch of buddies with you, you can block yourself in. You can use another Equus to block you from moving. Do all sorts of cool things. Or you can just put it in a taming pen as well, if you have the means to be able to do that. But if you just stay on it, and then down in the bottom right, you see where it says effectiveness 100%, 54 levels, taming 57%. We are taming 57%, but every once in a while, it will say give carrot from inventory. As soon as it says that, he'll start bucking, and then you have a limited amount of time to give him a carrot before he bucks you off, and then he ditches, he just gets out of dodge, and then you are having to go run after him and then finish the tame, but that always ruins the taming effectiveness. So pay very, very close attention to this, and then you will have your own Equus very, very soon. All right, just like that, we have our own Equus, and now this guy is ours. And these guys are really good because you can ride them without a saddle. And you can actually get a saddle for them later on that it works like a mortar and pestle in their inventory. It's really, really good. These guys are great. And also remember, carrots, good source of water and food too. So if you're starting to run out and you got a lot of carrots, just eat a couple carrots. It's really good. All right, now let's get on to the last form of taming, the hatching tame. All right, so say we have these two dinosaurs right here. Now, if we were to see how this one right here, when you go up to it, you'll notice that it is female. And then this one right here, this one is male. So if we were to get another parasaur that was a female, we could have them breed, and then we would get an egg from the female that we could take then, and then we could hatch. That would give us a baby that we would be able to raise up and then imprint and then actually make it better, because it gives it a permanent buff that allows you to take less damage and deal more damage while you are riding it, and it makes it very, very beneficial to actually breed. Now, if we were to go get a male horse, male Equus, we could actually breed them. They wouldn't drop an egg though, because horses don't do that. Yeah, I know that was silly of me. All right, but they will have a live birth. They'll have a little baby that comes out. You can do the exact same thing. You can feed them, and then you can imprint them, and then you could raise them up, and then the baby will be 100% imprinted to you if you're lucky enough to get 100% imprint on it, and which equates to a 30% buff to that dinosaur. Plus, also, they get better stats while you're imprinting them and everything. It is very beneficial to imprint. But also, there are different ways of getting eggs, and that's what I'm going to show you next. And make sure when you do this, you have none of this in your inventory, because we're about to lose all of it. I'm going to take these because I want the food. All right, but Ragnarok, and especially Ragnarok, starts off very early to very close to the Wyvern Trench. Now, if you are able to, and you have all I can really say is, if you have the guts to be able to do this, I would encourage you to at least try. I'm not saying you need to. I'm not saying it's required. I'm just saying that it is available if you want to. I normally don't do this when I am first starting out, because I think having a Wyvern early on kind of spoils the early game. But a lot of people, they really like to have, to be riding on their little dragon mounts, and I think it's awesome that the ability is here. Now, let's get over here, and let's show you a few different things that we can do. All right, now over here on Ragnarok, let me show you on the map, there is this little entrance right here. Now, there's a huge Wyvern area up here. Oh, yeah, and we're going to be really, really burning. We're going to be taking some damage. I'm not sure how much we'll be able to deal with, but there is an area up here that you can get into just by running that allows you to get very, very close to getting an egg. Now, I'm going to be up there taking a quick look, and I will see you guys in a minute because I'm going to be running in and out. Right here, because you cannot heal when you're overheated. But if we sit right here, we can slowly heal up, and that guy's going to aggro us. All right, and I previously went to the wrong one, but this one right here is what it will look like on the outside, and those birds are going to aggro me if I get to... I'm going to do it here in a sec, but yeah, it's right here on the map. And it'll look like this. You run inside. All right, now when you get inside of here, you will start to be taking some damage. It's not super fast, but it does go down, and then you'll have to just jump over these little areas and get across. And we're looking for a wyvern nest where they keep their eggs. But also, since they are wyverns and they will be guarding their eggs, we want to pay very, very close attention to just how close we get. Now, if we're lucky, we'll find some low-hanging fruit. If not, we're screwed. And be prepared if you do... Yeah, there they are. There's the wyverns up there. Now, if you do find a wyvern egg and you grab it, all of these around here are going to aggro on us, and we're going to have to come get it. Now, if we die and that egg is in our inventory, as soon as we pick up that egg from our inventory, they're going to re-aggro. And once that egg enters your inventory, it sends out a ping to all the wyverns in a vicinity to eat us. So just know that while we're doing this, it's going to take us a while to get out of here with that egg. It is doable, but just be prepared. It's going to take you a little bit of time. All right, so a little bit of time later, we now come out of here, and we, yeah. The key thing is find a nest, grab the egg, run as far as you can, die, go back in, recover your body, and immediately run. Just remember, take your armor off first, because it's going to get beat up pretty dang bad. Yeah, and then hopefully you could recover your carrots and then heal up a little bit. And that right there is a Giga in the distance. That is the epitome of difficult tames when it comes to Ark Survival Evolved for the active taming, because their torpor goes down wicked, wicked fast. Just remember, if you try and tame one of those, if it's not going up, it's going down, and they're going to lose all the torpor very, very quickly. So maintain the dot at all times. All right, but now that we've got this egg, I believe we got a level 85 poison wyvern egg. So we're going to run this back, and we're going to hatch it. All right, so in order to hatch most eggs, they always require a certain temperature that they need to be around. Now, a lot of times they'll have to be cooler, sometimes they'll have to be warmer. Now, for a wyvern egg, since they live around lava, they have to be very, very warm. And how we're going to do that is, instead of using air conditioners, we're just going to use a whole ton of torches. And this will get the area scorching like an inferno. All right, so now that we've got this, what you do is you take and you throw the egg down on the ground. Now, this right here, you'll notice that it's too cold, so the egg health will slowly start to go down on these guys. But, yeah, what we want to do is we want to start lighting all of these fires around here and just getting the center of this lit up to replicate the lava that we pulled it out of. And then keep an eye on it. And still too cold. And there we go. Now we're incubating, and now we just wait. Now, when it comes to imprinting wyverns, they're most of the time they're gonna need wyvern milk. Now, what that takes is you have to knock out a wyvern the same way we did with the active tame. And the moment you knock out a female wyvern, it will have 5 milk in it, always. They spoil very quickly, but they're gonna be very good for you. when they're going to be imprinting these guys. On some settings, you can actually do it without wyvern milk and cryopods. I'm just going to be hatching this guy just to show you it can be done. All right, and then when the timer goes down, we will have a level 85 wyvern just sitting here. And it'll be the baby, and here, let's turn this off just where we aren't burning our butt the entire time. Now, his food will constantly be going down as long as he is... As long as he's a baby, his food will constantly be going down. And this storm apparently decided it wanted to pick up in the middle of doing this. But that's okay. Alright, let's leave one of these going so we can see. Alright, now you'll notice his food is constantly going down. We can put meat in his inventory, but it's not going to feed him. If it was a different dinosaur, a different type of tame, you could put whatever you use to tame them in there, be it meat or berries, and they'll eat it slowly as they grow. Wyverns, they will not eat anything until they get fully grown. Now, the key thing is, when you give them a bit of wyvern milk, it will give them 1,000 food. So yeah, that's the only way of feeding a baby wyvern, is wyvern milk. But, yeah. But on certain settings, it will actually go up. Matter of fact, on my single-player settings, you'll be able to tame these, and you'll be able to breed them without using wyvern milk. So, yeah. And the link is actually in the playlist for this video. Alright, so anyway, those are the 3 different forms of taming, and I hope this video helped you out. I tried to be as in-depth as possible without going too far in-depth, but yeah, alright. So hey, once again, I hope the video helped you out. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate both of those. Share with your friends, to anybody who had questions about this, and you know, hey, I hope it helps you out, and I appreciate it. And until next time, this is Phlinger, and take it easy, everybody. Now I have to decide whether I'm going to put some outtakes of getting a wyvern egg in the video. Yeah, might as well. No, 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 I'm coming through. No, 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 no. Well, we made it a little bit further. Okay, come on. You know you want to go away. All right, no, no. No, no, no!